Evolution is a reaction to the environment's changing, genetics being mixed, and many other types of determining factors that affect the genetic pool of a certain type of organism. Evolution has operated for millions and millions of years, since before and after life took place on Earth. Evolution can and has affected all aspects of animals, and because of it, is the carving tool that has generated all life on this planet. And while what we have now was shaped over millions of years, some aspects of life on Earth are seeing changes that might be evident in one or two human generations. The possibilities are intriguing, so we wanted to bring you a list of the 7 ways creatures will evolve in the next 100 years. But before that, if you have evolved opposable fingers, go ahead and subscribe to our channel to keep up to date on more of our incredible animal content. So let's get into it. We're sure this first animal will certainly be more prevalent in the next 100 years in certain areas across the world, especially in Ontario, Canada. Wolves in this area were hunted in mass numbers to clear ways for farms to be set up. Now usually this would spell destruction for a breed, but in fact it's starting to make a new one. These are Coywolves, which, if you guessed by the name, are mixes between coyotes and wolves. Coyotes moved into the wolves area, and due to wolves not being able to find a mate, caused wolves to find mates with coyotes, creating this very interesting hybrid. With the need to survive, nature can certainly take shocking turns like this. The environments of animals are a gigantic factor in the evolutionary process of animals. Some would say it's the biggest determining factor for any creature, especially if that species lives, dies, and reproduces in such an area. Animals like crustaceans are slowly losing their eyesight, as being in a pitch black cave all throughout their lives is causing the loss of their eyes entirely because of the lack of usage. And in fact, they currently have eye stalks, but with barely any eyes on them. And as research has shown, the part of the brain that handles sight that is still there is also dwindling due to being useless. Extreme environments usually breed extreme adaptations or changes. Global warming is a force that continues to affect the world we live in multiple ways. You know, owls, these strange birds that can rotate their heads 180 degrees. Well, these guys are changing in a big way that we're sure will be evident in about 100 years. A little known piece of info about owls is that in colder, snowier areas, owls are gray or white, while in warmer areas feature browner colors. As the world warms up, owls' feathers start to change colors in the areas that they exist in. Owls being born in colder areas turning warmer are developing dark feathers like they're already warmer environment cousins. Rats, tiny animals that have brought humanity issues across history. They're capable of multiplying quickly, capable of chewing through wires, carrying diseases, and infecting food and water sources. Humanity has developed ways of keeping this animal out, like warfarin, a chemical that kills rats. And while it has worked for a while, the chemical has been shown to start to slow down in effectiveness as some rat genes are changing to not be affected by it. It is said the rats are mating with a slightly different breed that is more resilient and mixing gene pools and making one of our main defenses useless. We might want to come up with an alternative. A new plague could break out any day now. Within the Hudson River, there is a tiny species of fish called the Atlantic tomcod. This fish exists here, as did much unique wildlife before. However, chemicals started being dumped into the river and caused most fish to die, including the tomcod. The tomcod, however, have started to move back in where no other animals can go. It was discovered recently that the tomcod have actually developed resistances to the chemicals in the water that would have had their hearts shrink and killed them. The next generation of the tomcod, however, are very capable of swimming in this polluted body of water where most predators cannot. Human error really is quite an effect on wildlife and how it changes over time, especially elephants. Elephants are constantly hunted for their tusks, especially the big ones that will fetch the best price in the illegal ivory trade. But what happens when you take enough of a particular genetic trait out of a gene pool? Well, elephant breeds being overhunted will develop smaller or no tusks at all. Due to the genes of larger tusk elephants not being mixed in, only smaller tusk elephants that aren't hunted are passing on their genetics to the next generation, assuring that elephants in the next 100 years might not have their trademark tusks. It may be shocking to some, but the human race is also changing. Maybe not on the level of some animals on this list, but evolving all the same. Humans are changing in a few simple, but very efficient ways. People across the world in general have access to more nutritional foods, and due to that, humans are starting to be taller than ever before. In fact, in just 150 years, the average person has grown 4 inches taller than his great-grandfather. It has also been said that humans are slowly becoming darker due to the sun's rays and the diversity of the human race slowly mixing together homogeneously. Evolution is a natural path taken by organisms and their genetics to change and adapt and to survive. Now, whether an animal being in a cave or facing strong sun rays, all creatures change over time in ways best suited for survival. 100 years isn't a long time for much to change, but 1,000 years, 100,000 years, a lot can change with just a little more time. We want to thank you all for stopping by and to have a great one.